In other news, an NGO director says there's a growing push to closer scrutinize Chinese state-run broadcaster CGTN. This comes after recent decisions by TV regulators in the UK and France. NTD's Joy Duguid has more.
UK broadcast regulator Ofcom on Monday imposed fines on Chinese state-run news channel CGTN. £125,000 for its partial coverage of Hong Kong protests, and a £100,000 fine for airing a false confession of British national Peter Humphrey. Humphrey has mixed feelings about the rulings.
I'm very pleased to see all of these disciplinary legal rulings against CGTN. I'm disappointed that the fines are so small.
He says fines should be in the millions, since it involves severe and brutal human rights crimes.
£100,000 fine something like CGTN is just like spitting in the wind, because CGTN is funded by the very deep and very dirty and very bloody pockets of the Chinese Communist Party.
Last week, a French regulator approved CGTN's licence to broadcast in France and by extension in Europe. This comes after Ofcom revoked its UK licence in February, following complaints filed by human rights NGO Safeguard Defenders. Its director says he's not concerned about the French decision.
The CSA, as they are called, made it very clear, and this is incredibly unusual, that they will be paying close attention to CGTN and what they broadcast. So I think it's actually a positive development because it puts more pressure on CGTN.
He says it has always been their goal to get TV regulators to better scrutinise Chinese state-owned broadcasters. Peter Darlin is also a victim of a false confession that was broadcast on Chinese state TV. He says he sees a growing push against Chinese Communist Party or CCP media. And not just in Europe. An Australian broadcaster recently suspended CGTN after receiving a letter from Safeguard Defenders. He says regulations cannot properly deal with the current media landscape anymore.
It's a patchwork, really, and there's a lot of ways around these regulations. So for sure, I think, we're getting to the point where we need a reckoning with a more comprehensive overview of how do we combat disinformation, direct lies, biases.
He says Safeguard Defenders has some quite exciting developments in the pipeline. Joy Duguid, NTD News.